Okay, so as you see, it's even bubbling. That's not me shaking, that's the wax actually bubbling like the burner. And I decided that is not enough, so now I'm going to show you the tricky part of this has a wick in it, and I'm going to stick it in there and let it melt because I do need more wax. Again, I have another candle I could use, but I need more wax. So I'm going to let that melt in there with this little piece. And I'll show you how I get the wick. Again, it's just on the burner for a couple of seconds because it gets very, you can hear that? It's fizzing. It gets very, crowns get very temperamental very fast, no matter what kind of crown you use. I'd use Crayola, Buckstore, whatever crown you use, it's going to bubble. So, and you're just going to want to give it a little stir to make sure that the colors are staying together. The crown does mix very well with the wax. It mixes great. You can get all different colors of candles if you don't want to use crowns, but I find getting 5 candles for $1, the white ones, and $1 pack of crowns makes 3 to 4, maybe even 5 candles depending on the size you want. I mean, if you only want to make little candles the size of, say, a pill bottle, then it's going to make a heck of a lot more. But getting 5 candles like this and a pack of crowns, so again that's sitting up 230, will make you 4 of these little dish candles, or 4 of these little dish candles, or like I said, if you're making like a, I'll get my prescription bottle here, if you're making like a pill bottle size, it's probably gonna make 10, 15, 20 of those for a candle size. Again, like I said, I've also used this. And if you want to use something like this, you don't want to keep your candle in there. You just put a little margarine in the bottom. And when your candle is dry, you just tip it over and give it a light tap, your candle will come out. So, and that candle that I made was from my grandmother. I made her a heart one. And I don't want to give away my dish. So, butter and margarine. Okay, so the one wax in there has completely melted, as you can see. I have my wick in there. And you don't want to leave your wick in there. So, scoop it out. And I call that my hot plate, because that wick is hot. So, and as you can see, this is just melting, and it's not even on the on burner. Like, this is just melting. That wax is just a bubbling. Whoops. And that is how you get wax on your stove. Right back. Okay, so I decided again that's not enough wax for what I want, the amount I want. So I put in 3 little wax pieces in there, and it is coming up quite nice. And if you always have leftover wax, you can store it in something that's not going to melt, like a margarine container that's thick. As in, the dip container is not going to melt. These types of containers, which I do store wax in, as you can tell, they're not going to melt. I've also made candles using half of a gravel bottle, and they don't melt. The only things that do melt are the little spouties of Coke that you see in the US. They will melt. However, a 2-liter bottle will not melt. Because I've also made candles that size for my grandfather. And again, as you see, the wick is totally the wick. The wax is totally hard now, and that's what I want to pour that wax in. I want it to be totally hard so that the color doesn't go through. Now, I see that what I got in there, that is probably good, so I'm going to take those wax chunks out. Save them for a rainy day. And I'm just going to pile them on my hot plate. Again, you probably don't want to put your pot on the stove like I just did. I just realized I did that because it may burn depending on your stove and the paint that was used. You may want a hot plate. So, no, it didn't burn, it just made a mess. I can clean that up. So, now I'm going to take this. I'm not going to put it on the light burner once again. That's very hot. I'm going to make some room here. All this wax, it can be used again, so I'm just going to put it in that little thing along with the wick. So once again, I'm going to bring this over here. This is hard. That wax is not going to melt this. For some reason, I don't understand why it will not melt the bottom color. So I'm going to put it on my plate and pour it in. It will move the candle, but it will not melt the bottom layer. As you can see, the bottom layer is holding up. Once again, I just stuck this over here. I didn't want to carry it in my hands. The camera was off for about 5 seconds, and as you can see, the wax is already getting cool. So if you have a window open with a breeze, it helps. Otherwise, just let it cool naturally. If you put it in the fridge or freezer, the wax does not get to cool naturally, and it will not turn out right. Now, time for the last layer, which is my blue. So I'm going to wash my pot. Okay, so like that's pretty good. As you can see, it did indent a little bit with my finger. It's not going to matter. I still have my 2 layers. The pink didn't melt the purple. I'm now going to do my last layer, so I want to fill it up to about just below the edge. So for this, I am going to use this tall candle. Like I said, I have extra wax. I'm just going to dunk it in there, and I can remelt it down and use it later. I do want not too much blue, so I'm going to use a little blue crown, and I'm going to cut up this candle into pieces about that big, because otherwise it's going to take a long time to melt. Okay, so I broke up that candle. There's no wax in those pieces. There's wax in this. The pot is hot. So I'm going to leave the wick over the edge, and hopefully that'll work. I'm going to stand on right so you can see. My blue is in there. I'm going to stick it on there. I'm going to stand about this far away, because it's going to take a couple seconds to melt. Seconds, literally seconds. Oh, it's not liking me. No fire, honey. I did have a fire making candle once, when I first did it. So, look at that. It's still bubbling. The blue crown is already melted. Now it's just the wax's job to melt. So, and that's a beautiful blue. That I'm going to be happy with. So, I'll stick it on there and I'll let it do its thing for a minute.